All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, February 19th. This is the search committee for the Southern University System presidential search. The time is 10:34 a.m. I will call this meeting to order, and I will ask Dr. Merrick if she would please call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Mr. Hughes. Here. Mr. Hardy. Attorney Amadei. Judge Atkins. Dr. Brown. Here. Dr. Cook. Here. Mr. Dixon. Here. Attorney Howard. Dr. Ajiti. Mr. Inman. Mr. Land. Mr. Lane, Mr. Pierre, Attorney Stewart, Mr. Valaire, our ex officio members, Mr. Clayton and Mr. Abraham.
Thank you, Dr. Merrick, for that. Members, just a few housekeeping matters. If you wish to be recognized and wish to speak at any time, if you would please raise your hand. We'll get you acknowledged, and our amazing IT folks will activate your mic at that time. Please silence your cell phones. If you need to take a call, please step in the back or out of the room if you wish to speak. With that, we will go to agenda item number 3, public comments. Is there anyone here wishing to make public comment? All right, seeing none. Agenda item number 4, adoption of the agenda. Members, you have the agenda before you. Are there any additions or deletions or modifications to the agenda? If not, Chairman Pierre moves adoption, second by Member Howard. Is there any objection? Without objection, the agenda is adopted. Introduction of committee members. We actually did that at the first meeting, so we'll go ahead and forego that. I think we all know each other, and we had a chance to introduce ourselves to the public at the last meeting. Agenda item number 6, in terms of the charge to the committee. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm looking at I got 2 agendas in my packet.
Okay.
All right. Now I got the right agenda. Sorry, I had the first agenda. Review of position description, agenda item number 5. So I will, I think we have drafts of this, Dr. Merrick.
Yes, sir. There are drafts of the position description in your meeting packet material. And that is just to let the committee know exactly what the position description is as it is outlined in the Board of Supervisors bylaws. So if you all will take a moment to just peruse that.
And members, this is relevant because as we go to agenda item number 6, this will sort of inform some of our thinking in next steps. And as you're continuing to look at that, we'll go ahead and go to agenda item number 6, which is the review of the presidential profile. Members, obviously since our last meeting, our amazing Dr. Merrick, our amazing board counsel, and others have updated this working draft, and we're going to bring this to some finality by the end of this week. Members, this is your opportunity to now weigh in to this presidential profile. We're gonna go through the changes page by page. We're only gonna highlight the updates and the changes, which are highlighted in yellow. But members, this is your opportunity to weigh in. If we're on the right track, to weigh in on things that you want to see. It will inform some of our next steps as we embark on these listening sessions and prepare to go live. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to ask Dr. Merrick and Attorney DeQueer to kind of walk us through the changes of the working draft. And members, you can feel free to chime in at any time as we go page by page of this document. If there's anything I neglected to add, if Dr. Merrick or Attorney DeQueer would like to weigh in, please do so at this time.
Members, first, good morning. The yellow highlights, or we have Rachel Carriere from Institutional Advance.
That's not what she's from.
Oh,
No.
where's she from?
Cover our website, but
I thought she did the data.
no.
Okay. So we have the yellow highlights are where the data's been updated. I'm going to give you a 2-second background. This institutional profile is something we've done over the years. It began because candidates used to not be able to go online and research universities. What this is all the data of the institution we're seeking a leader for. For each campus, it lists graduation rates, retention rates, budget numbers, grant numbers. This lets the candidate know exactly what they're stepping into. What you need to look at is about 3 pages from the end. There's a section that says qualifications. That section is blank. It's the search committee's job, as Dr. Merrick updates this, to tell her, what do you think key qualifications should be for the next president? And when I say key qualifications, a terminal degree in a specific field, a terminal degree, leadership experience in higher education, or leadership experience in an organization. But candidates are going to look at this profile and discern exactly what the nature of the enterprise is. They're going to read the qualifications like, with a microscope. And your wording of those qualifications will largely determine what types of candidates you attract. If you want non-traditional candidates, you've got to have in your qualifications that you're open to some non-traditional experience. If you want traditional higher education leaders, you want your qualifications narrowed so they read such that people think, oh, they're looking for a traditional higher education leader. But the position description, which largely comes from the bylaws, and the institutional system profile are what the candidate's going to read. Your job, just like the listening sessions, is to discuss what key provisions you'd like to see or you think should be in the qualifications, and that's the section that's blank.
For clarity, can you give the committee a definition of terminal degree?
Mr. Chairman, I did want to clarify just one point before answering that question. What we did provide, starting on page 11 under qualifications, are the qualifications that were used the last time that this position was advertised. So to give the committee something to work from, we started with a blank slate, as Attorney DeQueer mentioned, but we went back and added for your review this information that was used in the previous search when we were seeking a president, so that you wouldn't have to start from pure scratch. In that regard, to answer your question, Mr. Chairman, in terms of a terminal degree, we would define a terminal degree as the last and final degree that you can receive in any particular discipline. So in the case of a law degree, it would be an LLM, as I understand it. In the case of a fine arts degree, it would be a Master of Fine Arts. PhD, of course, would be considered a terminal degree as well as an EDD, Doctorate in Education. So I hope that gives some clarity on that in terms of what a terminal degree is.
Okay. Thank you for that. I will start the discussion, and I welcome members to please weigh in. Obviously we're not in traditional times in our country or in higher education, and ideally, speaking for myself, I would like to see us cast as wide a net as possible as we work to recruit the next president of the Southern University system. That individual may have a PhD, may have a JD, may have a LLM, may have all of the above. But there may be some high-level candidates that we may find in C-suites or boardrooms that may not necessarily possess a JD or a PhD. So while I think those credentials are preferred, and I think we should stress that those credentials are preferred, I would hate to see us box ourselves in as we attempt to cast as wide a net as possible. So I'm just throwing that out there for purposes of discussion. Any feedback on that? Mr. Dixon is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I kind of concur with you, and I guess I look at it from a non-traditional view, like you. In my estimation, a president of a system is almost like a CEO of a company, and I understand that a lot of times the CEO doesn't know accounting, they don't know everything, but they hire people that have those skill sets. I think whatever candidate should, have the ability to provide some leadership, provide some vision, but also have the ability to present or represent this institution to business, government, and other entities. So that may not always be the traditional PhD, EED candidate, but that doesn't mean they couldn't lead a campus. So I concur with you.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Any other feedback or input? Dr. Ajiti is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I may little bit differ from that. Not that I don't agree with you, Mr. Chair. I agree with you. But at this time, especially Southern University system, we have experienced leaders, what we call professional degree, not really academic degree like PhD. Those that are really familiar with research, international development, faculty development, student support. At this critical time, Mr. Chair, I would suggest to you that we can also find someone who is capable, a business leader with a PhD that can actually navigate the system at this moment. That is my suggestion.
Thank you, Dr. Ajiti. Vice Chair Hardy is recognized.
Just to weigh in very briefly on terminal degree, and I totally agree with my chairman in terms of casting a wide net, but terminal degree sometimes depends upon the discipline, not just how high the degree goes. For instance, the Juris Doctor is deemed a terminal degree, except an LLM is a specialization above that. So terminal degree varies depending upon what the discipline is, but I cannot agree more with my chairman that we need to cast a wide net, and we can talk about what's preferred and not necessarily what's required all the time, because we don't want to limit those that apply, because sometimes there's a non-traditional candidate that might serve very, very well. So I just want to weigh in on just the definition of terminal degree.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. President.
But I agree when it comes to the overall net we're casting. I do believe that terminal degrees, if that we make that a requirement, can hinder how large our net might be. But specifically, when we talk about some of these non-traditional candidates, I do believe that for those who don't have that terminal degree, we do need to look for some type of experience within higher education. Because even though we can go into the business world and the corporate world to try to find our next president, for those in particular with that corporate non-terminal degree, I do believe they need to have some type of experience, especially within the HBCU realm or within the state of Louisiana. Because truth be told, I believe within our last presidential cycle, one of the flaws that we see in hindsight is that there wasn't necessarily experience within our region or within the HBCU state. So I do believe that when we think about this going into the search, that that's something that needs to be taken into account.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think you raise a great point that I wanted to touch on as well, and I hope we'll dig deeper as a committee. I do feel it's imperative, whether the next president is a traditional higher education leader or a non-traditional leader, it is very imperative that they have a strong understanding of HBCUs. HBCUs and the mission of HBCUs are very unique, and we have to remember the Southern University system is the only HBCU system on earth. And so I think it's critical for the viability of this system that the next leader have a very strong understanding of HBCUs and their unique role, scope, and mission. Also understanding the unique designation of 1890s institutions as well. Any other comments, input, members? This is your opportunity to inform the finalization of this profile. And Dr. Merrick and Attorney DeQueer are capturing all of this feedback as we bring it to finality. Mr. Howard, you have no thoughts? I'm not used to you being silent.
I'm processing all of this. Excuse me. Since I was called, I guess I'll start. I would just say that I'm processing this, but I agree with the points raised about the traditional versus non-traditional candidates. I'll just speak on my experience looking for a superintendent in East Baton Rouge Parish. I think it's going to be important for us, though, as a committee, to understand how we message that. Because we heard a lot of community members when we were going through superintendent search talk about the need for someone to have went through the traditional realms of education, and just helping people understand like this role and this description is going to be imperative so that when people are soliciting feedback, they understand what we're collectively looking for. I do believe that there sometimes can be a disconnect between the actual role and the community output, and so I don't want us to get to a point of tension throughout this process. So just the way we narrate this and tell this story is going to be imperative for people as they get involved with this process.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Dean Brown, any Vice Chancellor /
Yes.
Dean?
No, I agree wholeheartedly with casting the net wide. I think we want to be as inclusive as we can. Our messaging has to be in one voice so that when we do communicate what those preferred qualifications are, everybody's speaking in the same voice. So casting the net wide, trying to get as much national outpour and interest, I think would be best suited for us to go.
Thank you, Dean. I'm gonna treat this like law school, Vice Chair. Dr. Cook, would you like to?
I agree with everything that's been said. If we are going to cast the net wide, though, I think one of the things that we need to look at is how large of a system, and I say system, not necessarily higher ed system, but organization or corporation the person has worked for. So they can be non-traditional, but experience managing multiple entities, I think, is going to be critical.
Great point. And just for clarity for everyone, if it's ultimately the decision that we, stress that it's strongly preferred, which I think that should be, it's strongly preferred that the next candidate have a terminal degree. It's really just giving the search committee a little bit of flexibility as they attempt to recruit high-level candidates. And we don't box out someone that may be out there, that may be stellar, that may be a good fit, maybe an alum of the system, who knows? And so it just gives them a little bit of flexibility. But I do think we have to stress that our preference is someone, terminal degree, strong background in HBCUs with a lot of experience. Mr. Valera is recognized.
I think everything is said is on point. Also look at somebody who could expand and also grow the university, good relationship builder, coming from the business community, knowing that Southern University needs partnerships more than ever from the business community. So having someone, as Mr. Dixon said, as a CEO that kind of runs the whole landmass, and don't be just confined to this campus. We need some growth opportunity outside into the Scotlandville community. So someone who can be a bridge builder as well with our local community and local businesses.
All right. Vice Chair Hardy.
I couldn't agree more with the comments that have been made, but just recognize that in no candidate will likely have all of the things that we want, but we do want to maximize a candidate that has most of them. So I just want to make sure, I've been a part of so many searches, national searches, and sometimes we've ended up with a non-traditional candidate. Sometimes somebody was had more of one than the other. Some were more business than the other. Some were more skilled in higher ed. But I think at the end of the day, what we want to do is find the person that has the most, especially the most important attributes, and then go from there. But I really do appreciate all of the comments. And it looks like we do have a great committee that's looking at, I think, the right way to pick our next leader of the system.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Land is recognized. Yes, I did put you on the spot.
Because my background is from a PWI, University of Michigan. So my experience with HBCUs started a couple of years ago when I came to the university system through SULC. What I've seen in my time here is leaders who do have the ability to reach out to other people and get suggestions and help on areas that they might not be as strong in. I think that's very, very imperative for this position, as we might look at someone with a non-traditional background, but that has to be somebody that's willing to reach out to somebody that is an expert in those spaces. So not necessarily qualified as much as somebody else in those spaces, but humble enough to step up and say, hey, I need some help here. What can we do to improve the situation that's going on at one of these other entities in the system to make sure that we're elevating ourselves in every single way at the same time. Similar to the CEO comments that were made earlier, I think that that's definitely someone we need, but somebody that's also pushing to make sure that the other leaders are on the same page and giving ownership over this so that we're all lifting at the same time.
Thank you, sir. The last thing I'll put out for discussion purposes as we bring some finality to this role, I think it's imperative that, as we're looking at the next leader for the Southern University system, it's a leader that's leading the system. We are not looking to hire a president chancellor. We're looking to hire a president. And we need a president that's going to know their clearly defined role. And that's going to have an ability to work in concert with the chancellors and oversee the various campuses. But I don't think the next president needs to get deep in the weeds on various campuses when it comes to hiring academic deans, department chairs, et cetera. I think it needs to be a clearly defined understanding. So do we have consensus around the required description on page 11? Any objections there? I think. And I'll just read it. The candidate must provide evidence of experience in successful budget management, resource development, and financial management. 2, ability to oversee and provide administrative oversight for a diverse core of campuses and employees. 3, ability to procure resources for and increase the funding base of the system and its institutions. 4, proven political astuteness and extensive knowledge of the legislative process. And 5, excellent verbal and written communication skills. Any objection to those requirements? All right, seeing none, and I think we have some great consensus around our strongly preferred qualifications. All right, so we will compile that feedback and move forward. I think the next item on the agenda is our recruitment strategy. Dr. Merrick, Attorney DeQueer, I'll let you walk us through that.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, we're in the process right now of finalizing the receipt of proposals from several search firms to work with us in assisting on this search. We expect to have a decision made probably by the end of this week, no later than the first of next week, after consultation with the board leadership on which search firm that we will likely go with. So just to give you all an idea, we have outlined to the search firm the kinds of things that we would need them to do in assisting us with this search, which will be a number of things. I think I shared that with you earlier. And that said, they're answering the questions that we put forth, seeing whether or not they can meet the timeline that we have in place. We did share the preliminary timeline with them as well, so that they would know what we were seeking to do and by what date that we're seeking to do these things. The very first task of the search firm will be the stakeholder engagement sessions that we have set for to start next week. And I think that's an agenda item a little later on, so I won't get into too much detail on that. But that will be the first thing that the search firm will be working with us on, is actually conducting those stakeholder engagement sessions and providing the feedback to the committee on what was found in those sessions to help us to shape the work that we do going forward, as well as the work that they will do going forward to solicit candidates to be considered for our president.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, Member Howard is recognized.
Question for Dr. Merrick. What is the realistic possibility of them being able to be in position by next week if we haven't already selected the firm in order to conduct these searches, or I guess I would like an update on the selection process if we're starting next week with interacting with them.
So the likelihood is strong. To answer your question, Mr. Howard, the likelihood is strong. It is strong because in this day and age of internet technology, and doesn't take long for the word to spread, I think when search firms saw that we were seeking a president back late last fall, they actually started preparing proposals prior to us asking. So we were on their radar. So when we did make the call to them, they were really ready to step forth and put together a proposal for us. So yes, short answer is yes, they can step in. They are raring to go. They just need a thumbs up from us.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. If not, we will move on to the preview of the website. I think we have Ms. Carrier here.
Good morning, everyone. Marcus? Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay. So earlier this year, at the beginning of January, we started to build the site. And as information is coming in, we are publishing. And mainly, we started with the message from the chair of the board. And we have the position profile that was provided earlier this week. We have the timeline. And all this is published. We have the committee members. And a little bit about Southern University. So as this committee continues to provide us with information, we'll keep updating the site. We are still, as you have the position profile and anything else that that fits this search. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add to Ms. Carrier's presentation, the website is expected to go live once we have secured the search firm, and advertising will start at that moment. So this site is still in development, and you all are previewing.
Does any member have input on things they would like to see added or adjusted? Mr. Dixon is recognized.
Will the timeline change some because of the direction of stakeholder meetings?
Yes, and we're going to get into that in just a second.
Okay.
Any other questions or input or feedback? Member Howard is recognized.
Yeah, so maybe on the actual website, if there's an opportunity for folks to submit like commentary or comment, that may be helpful. Just if people can't make meetings specifically, they can just go here, submit an email or something that we can actually see.
Okay. Note taken.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay.
Any and all stakeholders to be able to give real-time feedback throughout the process. Great suggestion.
Okay. Would you like these feedbacks to be anonymous or?
Whether they want to submit their name or not, just whatever may be the topic area, just somewhere where they can actually go here on the site and just submit whatever comments they have about the process or whatever.
Okay. Or not, okay. Yeah.
It's just going to have to be controlled, Mr. President. Like, if they're going to submit, it should go to one channel, and then you know, or your designee could share all of that. Because sometimes when you have that open forum, you want to have some type of monitoring of it, and then share whatever are the feedback. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Should the feedback come to us or go to the search firm?
I would say the firm, and I think we were going to get into this conversation earlier, but what I recommended to Dr. Merrick was that the firm or whoever is conducting this put together maybe a one-pager of themes that they've seen throughout the commentary, so that we can just have it, since we can't go to every meeting, so we can see what are the themes of what people are saying, and so the firm can compile that into a theme paper or a one-pager of feedback.
All right. Any other feedback? So once we've secured the firm, we will work on the logistics of how we incorporate feedback from members of the public. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Agenda item number 9. Dr. Merrick is going to give us an update on our stakeholder engagement process, following some conversations with our board leadership. Dr. Merrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've had several conversations with board leadership, campus leadership, as well as alumni leaders in terms of the stakeholder engagement sessions that are on the timeline listed for February 23rd through the February 27th. So we're looking to expand that window instead of just 1 week, looking at perhaps 2 weeks to allow as much involvement of our stakeholders as possible, and for the transparency that the board chairman has asked us to do, as well as inclusiveness of our stakeholder groups. And we did put an asterisk at the bottom of our timeline that said the dates are subject to change, because we are moving pretty swiftly. But we took into account a number of things that are going on with our stakeholder groups over the course of next week, and recognizing that trying to condense everything into 1 week was a little too rushed, and we did not want to rush our stakeholders. We wanted to give them an opportunity to express themselves as fully as possible, and to also give our search firm an opportunity to interact. Now, we do expect these sessions will be virtual. We initially set out to perhaps do them in person or a hybrid fashion. Now we're seeking to do virtual at the recommendation of the proposals that have come forth from our search firms, that this will be the most efficient use of our time and the ability to engage as many members as possible. And that would include people both locally and in other parts of the country that want to participate. So we will get those dates to you ASAP so that you can chime in and participate as you can. And then we're looking to have a registration link for those who will be joining us virtually for the purposes of really capturing data of who's participating, as well as being able to control those sessions so that we don't have any technical issues.
Any questions for members of the committee I know we have some tentative dates from most of our campuses. I think we're just waiting for a date from one of our campuses. So this should be final by tomorrow, and we'll be ready to hit the green light on moving forward. Any questions or comments? And just to be clear, while these stakeholder sessions will be virtual, as we select finalists, those sessions will be in person as finalists make those visits. Mr. President.
Good morning, Dr. Mayor. For clarification, could you outline exactly how these stakeholder sessions will run? Is this run by the overall search committee, or is the individual firm that we select, I guess, mounting and heading up these events? And on top of that, I know the dates are tentative. Should we still expect for these search committee stakeholder sessions to start next week?
Yes, sir. To answer your last question, yes, we're looking for them to start next week so that we will maximize our time. Two, the search firm will be leading the sessions. So search committee members are welcome to participate and join. We will be recording those sessions as well. So if you cannot participate in real time, we'll have those recordings available for you as well. The sessions will likely last about 2 hours. We've asked everyone to block out a 2-hour window. Oftentimes they will not go that long, but we certainly don't want to rush anyone. So 2 hours is what we're going to set aside to do each of the sessions. And right now we're looking to have a minimum of 5 sessions. Actually 6, 6 sessions as a minimum. There may be more as we see the need to perhaps add some. So that would be 1 per campus as well as 2 for the alumni.
And quick follow-up. 1, these sessions are public, correct?
Yes.
And on top of that, how will the system promote these to the public?
So the sessions are public. We're seeking input from our students, faculty, staff, and alumni, and other stakeholders, of course. And we will be promoting these things via e-blast as well as social media. And our campuses, of course, our campus leadership will be working with their respective constituencies, as well as the alumni. Mr. Inman, Mr. Dixon has assured us that we have access to the alumni's databases to reach alums to participate as well. And the search firm will be assisting, will be working in partnership with them on outreach.
Thank you. And I am going to ask members, if you plan to participate in these meetings, to please inform Dr. Merrick. I want to be very careful that this committee is not unintentionally skirting any sunshine laws. We have to be careful that we don't have a quorum present at any given time. So please let Dr. Merrick know. Hopefully we can have committee members participating on a rotating basis, but we don't need a quorum present at any time. All right. I do want to welcome Judge Atkins from the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeal, member of our search committee, who just joined us. Judge, if you don't mind, if you could give a brief introduction, and good morning.
I served on the Southern Board of Supervisors 2 years ago. As Councilman Hughes said, I currently served on the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeal, and prior to that, I was the clerk of court in New Orleans. So I just look forward to working with all of you, and thank you again. I apologize.
No apologies necessary, Judge. We really appreciate you agreeing to serve on the committee and look forward to the wisdom that you will bring, both you and Attorney Amadei, as former members of the Board of Supervisors. We really, really appreciate it. All right, members, agenda item number 10, other business. Is there any other business that we need to address at this time? Dr. Ajiti is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's not a new business. I would really appreciate you going back to your statement earlier. I know my faculty, my colleagues, and staff will be happy to hear that statement again. That is, the new president, the roles of the new president will not be the one that will tell the chancellor who should be the chair, the secretary, and so on and so forth. So we have chain of command. So the incoming president should know his role and boundary. You know, I don't know, I probably didn't get you correctly. Were you saying something to that effect?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Dr. Ajiti, for, complete clarity and transparency. I think as we work to recruit the next leader of the Southern University system, it's imperative that we stress we're not seeking a president chancellor. We're seeking a system president. That president has a clearly defined role, and there is a very clear chain of command. And so I think, the next leader, should really understand the mechanics of a system versus the mechanics of a chancellor. In my opinion, it's a very different and distinct role. We have chancellors for a reason, and I think in order for the trains to move swiftly, everybody needs to understand their role. From my standpoint, and anybody could chime in, but as somebody who formerly worked at the system level, I think it's imperative that the system president not get too deep in the weeds of day-to-day operations of a campus. That's why you have a campus chancellor. So I just think the next president needs to have a strong knowledge and understanding of that clearly defined role.
Thank you for that clarification.
And, obviously, I'm sure the principles of shared governance will come up, and I think that's another key hallmark that the next president needs to understand. Any other comments? All right. If not, Dr. Merrick, our next meeting is scheduled for, I think it's March or
Our next meeting,
April.
Mr. Chairman, is scheduled for April 9th. Excuse me, that is in person, so we're giving the search firm a little more than a full month to do their work and report back to this committee. So the interim sessions will be the stakeholder engagement sessions. And of course, you'll let us know if you're participating in those. We may just introduce committee members at those points if you're on those meetings. But otherwise, the next in-person meeting is not scheduled until April the 9th.
Thank you for that. And I just, in closing, want to reassure the members of the public who are watching, who are listening, who are wondering, will we have a president in place by July 1? And I have no doubt that we will meet the timeline. I have seen searches around the country happen on a much tighter and quicker timeline. So I think we have a really good timeline in place to meet the mark and ensure that we have the next leader in place. All right, so if there are no final comments, Vice Chair Hardy moves that we adjourn, second by Judge Atkins. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.